Make sections first and go along the way. Decide how many sections you want to have on the tree. The more the sections, the more the effort on with shading. And when you're making the sections, make them very don't make it in too much of details, and no need to complete the section as such. Just keep it slightly marked. That's it. So with that, we know the tree is done. More or less the shape is understandable. So now we'll start. So what I was using is actually a 2B pencil. Now I have a 6B, and ideally we should go like 2B and 4B and then maybe 6B, but I don't have a 4B right now with me, so I will be using 6B only, but different amount of pressure. So wherever you have done a section, just below that there will be a little bit of dark shading because it will cast a shadow, and we will assume that the direction of light is on the top, from the top, on all the sides, like that. Okay, so obviously the upper part of each section will be little lighter, the lower part will be darker obviously, and the lower sections will be more or less dark. So we'll start from the lower sections. Okay, so I will be using strokes like that. See, I'm not doing the whole thing, right? I'm just doing it in parts. Try to bring out a little bit of shade. So here I'm just using hatching, maybe a little bit of cross hatching to create the depth of the shades, and very light hatching wherever you know that there is partial shade but not too much darkness. Okay, overall the picture should come together. How you want to do is up to you. You just have to understand the position of the lighting and how much shadows will be fallen. Based on that, you take a decision where you want the color shading to be. So for this section, I know that this is under this one, so this one will cast a shadow over here. So that's what I'm going to do now. See how lightly I'm doing it? First, we'll do it lightly as possible to create the depth. If you think it's not not enough, then maybe you can darken it, but don't do the darkening part at the very beginning. Go slow and create layers. That's very important in shading. You should have layers. Okay, so go with hatching, cross hatching as and when required. So I'm just doing a little cross hatching wherever I think needs a little bit more shading or darkening. Okay, so even during cross hatching, please create layers. Don't do the whole thing at the same time. Make it darker one layer at a time. And you don't have to do exactly the way I'm doing, just try to understand it, okay? And then you try to implement it. You don't have to, like for example, if I'm giving dark shade here, you don't need to give it here. You just have to understand your way of doing it and figure out. No two tree will be the same, right? So you create your own tree and then go along with it. Understand where the shades will be, and that's how you do it. and it's impossible to remember where I'm shading and not. The maximum you can do is understand and then implement your way. Okay, so slowly you see the shade is building. So this is under the branch, right? This part. So this one also will be a little darker than the ones above it. As usual, I'm going to start with hatching. Then if need be, I'll apply the other layers on it. That way. Okay, now the last layer. This is also the lowest one. Obviously, this one also will be dark. Same way. Start with hatching, cross hatching, build layers, use more pressure so that your layers look darker as and when required. Ideally, you could also use 8B here. That will create a little more depth. So for wherever you need to, you figure out that it's not dark enough, please use another pencil, 8B, 10B, whatever you have. That should be enough. So I have a 10B with me here. So as you can see, this is a little darker because the pencil is 10B, and with a darker pencil, the thing is you don't even have to do an extra amount of work to make it look darker. It will obviously be darker than the previous layer. So back to 6B again, hatching, cross hatching, creating more layers, and I feel this part should be a little darker because this part is under this layer. So I'm just doing a little dark patch. That's it. And okay, so we'll come to the lighter layers on the top and let's see how to do that. There's nothing much to it, you just do it, but remember not to continuously do the outline. Leave a bit of lines here and there. It looks better that way. Okay, the ones that is fully exposed to sunlight, you don't have to do the full outline as much as the lower half. You can choose to make the hatching or cross hatching a little close to each other. For that, your pencil needs to be a little sharper. It creates a better impact that way. So I'm drawing a part of the branch coming out from here. You see, I'm not coloring the whole thing because I want it to look like as if the light is falling on this part which is not shaded. And with that, it's more or less done. Okay, it's just that we have to do the trunk part now. Right, so for the trunk, again back to 6p, build layers. I'm just using simple hatching here. Okay, so at the edges where the shadow of the upper part, the leaves and all are falling, I'm going to do a little dark patch here for obvious reasons. And with that, I think we are done. Sometimes it's really nice to see people using contour like that. Okay, but it's absolutely your own choice. For beginners, I think even if you don't use contour for the branches or the for the trunks, I think it's fine. Let's keep it minimalistic, and that's how you do a tree.